As soon as you get well enough, Mark, I'm ready for another match. I'm ready to put you over anytime, brother. I'll do it 7 days a week, twice on Sunday. Woo! But I love you, Mark. And folks, that's my friend, the handsome stranger, Marcus Alexander Bagwell, Buff Daddy, or just plain Mark. Would you help me welcome the 2024 Cauliflower Valley Club Men's Basketball
Wow, sorry guys, this thing seems like it's gone on a long time, but Paul, thank you so much, but try to wrap up 34 years pretty quick. 34 years ago, I believe that what we do for a living picks us. I really do with all my heart. Some people say, well, no, I picked it. If you really do your homework, you will see that what you're doing for a living picked you. And wrestling picked me in 1989, Missy Hyatt saw me at a pool, and she said, you should be a wrestler. And I said, those guys don't make no money. And she goes, our lowest paid guy makes $100,000 a year. I said, can you tell me more? I thought it was going to be pretty easy, because I was an athlete. I was a boxer, I was a football, baseball. Pro wrestling is something I've never seen before. It's just different. It's not because I'm doing this for a living. Pro wrestling, you've got to have a little bit of everything. You got to be a little bit cool. You got to be a little bit of a nerd. You got to be a little bit of a badass. You got to be a little bit of a pansy. It's just a little bit about everything to be a great pro wrestler. And a lot of guys have it, and a lot of guys don't. But we all shoot for that. And at a very young age, I shot for that with WCW. 10 wonderful years, and 5 World Tag Team Championships with 4 different partners. Love tag teaming. Thank you, Rookie of the Year. WCW was it was fantastic, man. It was a great place. We were guaranteed contracts. We were spoiled rotten. It was ridiculous because we had contracts, and the WWF boys were, they were working 1 week, paychecks would be $500, the next week they'd be more, but they just never knew what they were getting when we had guaranteed contracts. We were spoiled rotten under Ted Turner. But when the unbelievable happened in 2001, the unheard of, which was the WWF bought the WCW, it changed my life in a really bad way overnight. And we were just a few weeks before that, we're on private jets with Eric Bischoff, high-fiving, because we're going to put the WWF out of business. Now, as we're high-fiving Eric, we're really going, that ain't good. We need 2 companies. There's only 2. That ain't good. But of course, we're on the private jet with the boss. It's like, yeah, we got him again, brother. But really, we're like, man, that ain't good. We knew it wasn't good if there was just one. Well, little did we know, the one bought us. And man, it was a really bad time in my life. It was my contract, along with a few others, ironically, was up at the exact same time. So we had to jump ship. They always say the first one in gets bloody. Well, brother, I got bloody. It was, I was excited. It was, they had me on Monday Night Raw, the very first week, main event. And we knew something was a little bit wrong because the next week was Atlanta. So we wanted to ask, but we wasn't going to dare ask, but we knew something wasn't quite right. So we did the match regardless, and the next week in Atlanta, I was released. And man, that opened up that opened up hell for me. I didn't realize how close I was to being a drug addict. I was a drug addict with a WCW leash holding me back. And when that WCW leash and WWF was gone, I went on a 20-year sedation that I'm embarrassed about, I'm upset about. Looking back on it, I can't even believe it. I tried to do the right thing by wrestling in gyms and doing the right thing, but man, it just ripped my lungs out that I wasn't on the big screen no more, man. Everywhere I went, why aren't you the WWE? Why aren't you the WWE? Tomorrow if you get fired from your job, it ain't that big a deal to you. But when the world knows you've been fired from your job, it's deep. So I dove into my addiction. I went to places that I never thought I would go with my addiction. Even at the end, I was doing I was doing the by myself thing. I was isolating. And I never isolated. And, Diamond Dallas Page came to me and he said, brother, if you don't get straight, he goes, I'm out of your life. And at that junction, Dallas was about the last thing I had in this career. And so I decided to get sober August 27th, 2022. So this August 27th will be 2 years that I'm sober. There's only a few reasons why I was able to do that, and one of them, brother, is God. You got to fill the void with something. The reason I was able to get clean is you got to fill that void with something else. I filled my void with God first, my girlfriend second, and then my body was third in that order. And by going with that order and doing everything you hear, going to rehab for 30 days, going to aftercare, getting a sponsor, 90 meetings in 90 days, work the steps. By doing those things, I'm telling you, you can and you will get sober, and I did. If somebody could have come to me and said, you know what? During my 20 years of that sedation, somebody could have came to me and said, man, if you'll try this way, I guarantee you your life will be 2% better. I think I may have tried it, but nobody ever did. But I can tell you, if you do those things I just said, your life is going to be better. It's just up to you on rolling your sleeves up and going to work, how much better your life gets. And my life got a lot better because I rolled my sleeves up. And when I did that, I rolled my sleeves up. I went to work, brother. And going to work is doing what you're supposed to do that's right in front of you the right way. And I always did it the right way, but not under sedation, man. I got excited again about everything. And when Brian brought me on this CAC thing, I was ecstatic for the first time. My peers were going to look at me like accepting me. And that was a giant deal because I really burned the bridges with my peers. So I want to thank my peers. I want to thank CAC for doing what you do. People don't realize that y'all don't get paid to do this. This is what y'all do for us. 58th annual. I want to give a round of applause again for the CAC. To Brian Blair, to Medusa, to Jimmy Hart, to everybody, to all the staff that's here working. Don't know all the names, but we know that if you're part of this, thank you, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I thank God. I thank that wonderful girlfriend of mine, Stacy Brown. She was beautiful inside out. you roll your sleeves up and you do what I did, it does come back to you. Thank you, CAC. Thank you, Stacy. And thank you, God.